sometimes when some people will say Yorubas are the problem of Nigeria, I will disagree. But with this issue of MLK, I don't agree. Need to say actually some Yorubas, they are the problem of Nigeria. Bita Nyanku, he washed his hand, come on for Nnamdi Kanu case. Even Nnamdi Kanu talk say nobody, no lawyer, no judge go fit judge the case for Nigeria. But it was surprising say yesterday, na Yoruba man I pass judgment for MLK. Na Yoruba man I sentence MLK to life imprisonment. Now I really understand say Yorubas no really like Igbo for nothing. So wetin Hausa person no fit do, Yoruba man take am upon himself to pass judgment for MLK. The Fulanis, the terrorists when they kill people for Nigeria, this man could not pass judgment. You pass judgment for MLK. Wetin this man don't do when we say another person never do one? What is this man's offense? He's fighting for those who cannot fight for themselves. Give us our nation, let us go. That is what he's asking for. Is it too much to ask? Now una sentence am to life imprisonment. Some Yoruba say, may God help una. Even when these people una state they kpai una like chicken, una no fit do them anything. When it comes to the case of Igbo, una go bring una chest outside.
The conversation surrounding national identity, justice, and civic trust in Nigeria continues to evolve, shaped by individual testimonies, emotional reactions, and collective memories that stretch across decades. In the midst of an already intense public discourse, a statement recently shared online by a woman has reignited wide debates. Her words, delivered with visible frustration, questioned the judicial process, highlighted long-standing grievances, and expressed disappointment at what she saw as unequal treatment in the nation's legal landscape. But beyond the emotional layer of her message lies a deeper story, one that requires thoughtful examination, careful contextualization, and a commitment to truth that avoids amplifying divisions. As we explore her perspective, we must remain anchored in fairness, ensuring that no group is unfairly blamed or stereotyped, and that each argument is examined with clarity, reason, and responsibility. That is what this analysis sets out to do. And as we move forward, feel free to subscribe or leave a comment if you find value in this type of balanced exploration, because constructive dialogue is essential for understanding the complexities behind narratives like this. The woman's statement revolves around a contentious legal issue involving a well-known activist. Throughout her description, she expressed disapproval toward a specific judicial decision, portraying it as harsh and inconsistent with her expectations of justice. For her, the situation symbolized something larger, something she believes reflects an imbalance in the way the judicial system handles certain cases compared to others. She emphasized her belief that individuals who advocate for their communities or express political dissent sometimes face heavier penalties than those involved in violent crimes. This perception, while emotionally charged, represents a view shared by many citizens who feel a disconnect between their lived realities and institutional decisions. This gap, real or perceived, fuels much of the frustration seen across social conversations today. And honestly, if you're watching or listening right now, you might relate to that sense of institutional mistrust, even if you interpret the events differently. Remember to share your thoughts respectfully in the comments, because diverse perspectives help enrich the conversation. Her claims also introduced an emotionally sensitive dimension, one tied to ethnic identity. She expressed disappointment that the judge involved in the case came from a particular ethnic community, suggesting that this decision confirmed her belief that some individuals from that community hold attitudes unfavorable to others. This is the point where her message becomes highly sensitive and requires careful, objective analysis. It is important to acknowledge that many Nigerians feel deep emotions concerning ethnic relations, especially because historical conflicts, political competition, and regional differences have shaped the nation's trajectory. These emotions influence how the public interprets judicial or political events. But while we analyze her point of view, it is equally essential to separate individual actions from broad generalizations. No matter how strongly someone feels, the conduct of one judge cannot logically reflect the mindset of an entire ethnic group, just as the behavior of a single individual from any group cannot be used to define millions. Highlighting this distinction helps preserve social cohesion and prevents misunderstanding from escalating into harmful narratives. As you reflect on this, consider subscribing for more responsible analysis that prioritize clarity over controversy. When the woman referred to the activist at the center of the case, she described him as someone fighting for those who cannot fight for themselves, asserting that the activist advocacy work was rooted in the pursuit of justice and self-determination. This interpretation is part of a larger conversation around civil resistance, political activism, and community identity in Nigeria. Many activists across history have positioned themselves as defenders of marginalized voices, and supporters often see them as symbols of courage. Critics, however, sometimes view the same actions through different lenses, questioning whether the methods used by activists align with constitutional frameworks or national unity. This tension between activism and legality is not unique to Nigeria. It appears worldwide wherever political grievances intersect with state authority. Examining the woman's argument requires understanding this tension, acknowledging the role activism plays in democratic societies, and recognizing that legal judgments exist within a structured framework that aims to maintain order while upholding constitutional rights. If you appreciate this balanced breakdown, feel free to like the video to support thoughtful content. Her argument also raised concerns about perceived inconsistency in the justice system. She expressed disbelief that the activist received a life sentence, while in her view, individuals involved in more violent offenses have not faced similar outcomes. This perception reflects a broader societal concern, one rooted in the belief that legal consequences often vary depending on political relevance, social visibility, or regional context. Such concerns contribute to public skepticism toward institutions. For many citizens, the question is not solely about a specific case, it is about accumulated frustrations over time, experiences of insecurity, and feelings of marginalization. These sentiments create fertile ground for interpreting any high-profile judgment as symbolic of deeper systemic issues. Whether or not this interpretation aligns with the precise legal realities of the case, the emotional truth behind such reactions remains important to examine. People respond to experiences, not just statutes. And when large numbers of people feel unheard, these emotions become significant drivers of public discourse. Your comments on this subject are welcome, just keep them constructive and respectful. An important part of this analysis involves understanding how public perception forms. In emotionally charged situations, communities often rely on narratives shared by trusted sources, family, local leaders, online influencers, and community members, rather than legal documents or institutional statements. This means that narratives can become simplified, amplified, or reshaped by emotion. The woman's statement reflects this phenomenon. Her interpretation stems less from a detailed legal breakdown and more from her emotional response to what the decision symbolized for her. In a country with complex ethnic, political, and historical dynamics, symbolic interpretation often outweighs factual analysis. That is one reason why responsible communication is crucial. When people consume information quickly, especially online, emotional narratives spread much faster than factual ones. Creating spaces for objective analysis, such as this one, helps counterbalance emotional reactivity. If you value detailed, coming breakdowns like this, consider sharing the video so others can access a more measured perspective. The tension she expressed about ethnic relations reflects an ongoing challenge Nigeria faces: how to maintain unity within a mosaic of cultures, languages, histories, and identities. Ethnic diversity can be a source of strength when embraced with empathy and equality, but it can also become a flashpoint when mistrust takes root. The woman framed her disappointment in a way that generalized an entire ethnic group based on the decision of one judicial officer. While it is understandable that frustration can blur distinctions in moments of anger, it remains crucial to avoid equating isolated actions with collective identity. Constructive dialogue requires acknowledging that individuals act independently, shaped by personal convictions, legal reasoning, and professional duty, not by ethnic allegiance. Repeating this perspective helps reduce the emotional temperature of national discussions and emphasizes shared humanity over inherited divisions. Furthermore, the activist case represents more than just a legal matter. It speaks to a broader national conversation about belonging, autonomy, and constitutional interpretation. The idea of self-determination has been discussed across various Nigerian communities at different points in history. For some, it symbolizes hope and justice. For others, it raises concerns about national unity and security. The woman in the statement strongly identified with the activist's cause, portraying him as a representative of collective aspirations. Her emotional investment in the case magnified her sense of injustice when the verdict did not align with her expectations. Understanding this emotional connection is essential for analyzing her response. People defend the causes that reflect their identity, struggles, and historical memories. When something threatens those emotional anchors, reactions can be intense even when institutional processes follow established procedures. This emotional intensity extends to her comparison between the treatment of activists and the treatment of violent criminals. She argued that individuals responsible for violent attacks, especially those who threaten national security, have not consistently faced strong legal action, whereas activists face severe consequences. This belief is widespread in public conversations. However, it is important to distinguish perception from verified patterns. Many cases involving violent crimes involve complex investigations, jurisdictional challenges, or security complications that affect legal outcomes. While frustration with these complexities is natural, such realities highlight why it is essential to rely on evidence rather than assumptions. The justice system's performance should be evaluated critically, but also accurately. Constructive criticism helps build stronger institutions. Emotional generalization, however, risks deepening mistrust without fostering solutions.